Welcome to the Back Porch Top Podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason.
Goes Danny.
Fans, we got a full show for you today. First, a little NBA free agency. World Cup is definitely here. A little Formula One and maybe get to these Buster Brewers. But Danny, first right into the NBA free agency where, oh boy, there's a whole lot of action happening. And you have LeBron James telling the Los Angeles Lakers that he's playing elsewhere next season. I believe that's going to be his 24th season. I give him props for that, for longevity. I think it was time for things to change. You have Luka, who doesn't play the greatest defense. You have Reeves, who doesn't play the greatest defense, but getting a big contract. Lakers just didn't have no room, man. I think LeBron started writing on a wall, and it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. Draymond Green has declined his option, giving the Golden State Warriors a little bit more flexibility to go ahead and get some other parts. Maybe that's LeBron. We'll see. Or maybe LeBron goes down to Miami. Maybe he goes back to Cleveland. Who knows? LeBron is out there. But just as we're talking about LeBron, you have also the Raptors coming close to signing Kawhi Leonard or trading for him. Rumors are that Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 first-round picks, 1 pick swap, and 2 second-rounders will be part of the package. That's a big package for the Clippers, and we'll see what happens there, Danny. Ja Morant was traded to the Trailblazers. Porzingis re-signs with the Golden State Warriors, 2 years, $40 million. You have just a plethora of moves happening. What say you, Danny, about the NBA free agency so far?
Well, Jason, I was slightly surprised with LeBron saying what he said today with him moving on. But I think that Austin Reeves contract, because they weren't expecting to pay that much if you asked them a year ago. So that really said to LeBron, man, I don't know how much money they're going to be able to offer me. So I'm curious, though, anywhere he goes, I don't know how much these teams actually have to offer him.
I don't think it's going to be much.
From a salary perspective, right?
No.
Now, where does he go? Like you mentioned, Golden State, and the rumor was them trying to trade for AD, Anthony Davis, where the Wizards said they're not taking any trade offers for Anthony Davis. So I don't know if he's going to try to power play himself out of there. Because I know Anthony Davis is looking for a contract extension. So I'm very curious how this all plays out. The Porzingis signing really surprised me because I thought they were going to try to keep that money open in case of a deal, and bring in LeBron and Anthony Davis. But that looks like that's off the books now. So curious how that plays out. LaMelo Ball being traded, Jason.
Yeah, that's another big one.
That was a big one. Him going to Minnesota.
Does that make Minnesota any better? I mean, they traded for Naz Reid. Charlotte gets Naz Reid out for the deal. And does this make Minnesota any better?
It gives them a point. The problem is with LaMelo is health. And this is also what I was going to say about Kawhi too, right? You're giving up a lot of draft capital for someone who doesn't, last year they both played, Kawhi and LaMelo, but they managed the minutes appropriately. So these teams are going to have to manage the minutes, and that's a problem for Minnesota because they need LaMelo Ball on the floor because they need that point guard, and they need him to show up in order for them to move forward. I think something else, they're going to have to bring another piece in to help with that void with Naz Reid being gone. I thought that was a great trade for Charlotte.
Yeah.
In that perspective, because LaMelo, he played great last year. I'm not going to deny that, but you just don't know sometimes. And in previous years, how his body's gonna respond and how that's gonna play out. And then with Knipple and Brandon Miller playing the way they played, and then their draft pick, so they'll have enough backcourt depth, I think. But LaMelo has that unique skill set that I think they'll miss a little bit. But yeah, Kawhi going to Toronto, they're giving up some picks. They're going to be wing heavy, man, in Toronto.
Yeah.
I'm curious how they play this too, if they do anything else from the front court perspective, or do they just run with who they have? I know they're rumored to be interested in Miles Turner, but Grady Dick being a part of this trade package with Brandon Ingram, he was supposed to be a part of. If they traded for Miles Turner, was going to be a part of that. So with that being said, we'll see. But lots of action, Jason. It's still early. A lot of Jalen Duren. What's he going to do? There's
Mm-hmm.
rumors of sign and trade. Uh, but with the draft just happening, free agency about to start soon. This is an exciting time for the NBA, and now you got some moving pieces. So now we see where some of these players go, and will people be taking pay cuts to join different squads as
And
free
this
agents?
is, and just as we're saying that too, we're kind of going back to that Minnesota trade. Julius Randle, he gets traded to the Nets. So that was a 3-team deal.
Mm-hmm.
And Julius Randle gets traded to the Nets, man. And you got to start thinking about, man, Minnesota have had some good talent to trade away, and then they ultimately win championships. Think
Mm-hmm.
about it. Cat,
Yep.
KG. So Randall now is with Brooklyn. They really it's almost like a salary dump, man. I mean, I think Timberwolves were really trying to go for freeing up some cap space.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to think too, LaMelo's contract is coming up. They got to pay him some way somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think by getting LaMelo, you slide Anthony Edwards to his natural position at the two.
Yep.
He can roam around, but I think you're giving away some grit. You're giving away some length in Nas Reed, and Nas Reed could shoot too
Yes, you're
and
outside
defend
shooting.
and defend. So you're
Mm-hmm.
giving that up. So this is going to be really interesting to see how this shakes out for the Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves the past couple years have been on a cusp. But I think now you got to look at OKC. You have to look at the Spurs, obviously overtaking and going beyond what the Timberwolves have. I mean, with the experience that the Spurs gained from the finals, them getting possibly stronger, I it's going to be hard to really contend with the Spurs. But the
And their draft
Wolves
picks, Jason.
and the
They
draft
got they
picks,
got
yeah,
some people to put
yeah,
beside Wemby, like we had talked about
yep,
in previous shows.
yep.
Exactly what happened.
They
They
got some
recognize
size.
that.
Yeah. So I don't know what the Wolves are going to do. I think now they're putting all their chips in the middle of the table with this LaMelo Ball trade, and they're going to try to keep Anthony Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the attempt to keep Anthony Edwards. So I think he's coming to do 1 2 years here. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
And now into a little bit of World Cup and where the USA men's team they did take a L past Thursday.
Yep.
They didn't have their full squad. Their number ones out there, and they still almost tied and leveled things off. I mean, that goal was at the very last minute, literally.
Yeah.
The USA team they are playing on tomorrow. We'll see what happens. This is going to be very, very interesting. This is now in the knockout stage. And
Mm-hmm.
so winner advances, losers go home. So this is it. This is for all the marbles. This is for the soccer marbles, and so this is for the World Cup. This is going to be very interesting. Today, you have France and Sweden going at it right now. I believe France is definitely favored to win it all with Mbappe. But then also you have Mexico and Ecuador going later tonight. Norway beats Ivory Coast 2-1 to advance. So man, there's a whole lot happening. Last night, Daniel, you said you watched one of the games. What say you about the World Cup so far?
Jason, yesterday's action in the evening, you had Paraguay winning on penalty kicks
Mm-hmm.
against Germany. It was 1-1, and they ended up going 4-3. And then the Morocco Netherlands game, man, what a great game where they went to penalty kicks as well. Morocco ends up winning. Netherlands had the penalty kicks. Netherlands had their opportunities. Let's just say that both of them missed their penalty kicks like point blank, where the goalie was like shooting to the other side of the goal, and they ended up hitting the crossbar or overshooting it. So Netherlands, man, tough L, great game, back and forth. Like I said, if the World Cup's going to be anything like this, man, this is going to be some great action.
Mm-hmm.
Stressful, but looking forward to seeing what happens today. Then obviously with USA playing tomorrow against Bosnia,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have the game I want to see, Jason. I'm looking forward to is on Friday, Argentina and
Cape
Cape
Verde,
Verde.
yeah, man. I listen. I'm intrigued by that game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Friday's gonna be good. Listen, I'm looking forward to even that Colombia Ghana game,
Yes.
Ghana match.
Yep.
It's some good matches, man. I mean,
Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
these
some
dudes
good
are out
matches.
here taking a beating, man. Last night, I'm like, that Morocco team, they gotta be exhausted. With Netherlands losing, it doesn't, they're done. But
Mhm.
Morocco moving forward, because it was a very physical game. One dude had his head busted open. A couple times, Cass was just taking these crazy falls, and it was just very physical. So if it's gonna be like this, it's gonna be some great soccer. So looking forward to it.
And this, I like the pomp and circumstance, man. I like the how everybody is vying for their respective teams, last countries, and just seeing the different cultures and how they celebrate things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature. And I think that's what really intrigues me about the World Cup.
They're hype.
So they are
I mean, it
like
was like it was deafening last night. Well,
the
any game,
entire
man. When
match,
they score those goals, and then other team is out, the
the
expressions,
entire match. Yeah,
everything, man. It's just off the hook. So it's
yeah.
great to watch, and I'll definitely be watching. Try to watch as much as I can tonight.
And now into a little Formula One, Danny, where Formula One was in Austria, and George Russell gets the victory. Ferrari, to me, has improved in that their car is better now. Brakes are better thanks to Sir Lewis Hamilton. Their strategy can be trying at times. They went with the three-stop strategy. I believe that's more so why Sir Lewis Hamilton, who was in the third position, if I'm not mistaken, ended up number five, ended up fifth. It getting better, but I don't think you can have too many more. Again, they're gunning for an eighth world championship,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think you can have too many slip ups because Kimi Antonelli continues to score points. I think the only one and only time this season that him and Antonelli didn't score was the last time. I don't think that's going to happen many times moving forward. I mean, Mercedes. Let's just be real, man. Mercedes has like most powerful car, best car out there. Let's just be real. Right now, Sir Lewis Hamilton is in the third position overall with 125 points. George Russell is in the second position with 131 points. Kimi Antonelli is leading at 171. Sir Lewis Hamilton's right there, man. And I think there was a question asked to Sir Lewis Hamilton, could the eighth title be in reach? And I believe his response was something to the effect of, there's a lot of pieces that needs to come together. They still need to push for a better car. So he's constantly pushing for the best, and he's right there.
Mm-hmm.
He is right there, man. Man, he's right there, Danny. He's right there, but you can't have too many slip ups like this. You really can't. I mean, yeah. Max Verstappen came in second, his home race. Again, George Russell, and then, Kimi Antonelli third, but fifth position, Sir Lewis Hamilton. Every point is going to count. And so as of right now, 14 races still on the books.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of races. There's a lot of season left here. There's a lot of season left, a lot of upgrades that can happen in between now and then. But man, Sir Lewis Hamilton's right there. What say you, Danny?
Man, Russell dominated this one,
Mm-hmm.
start to finish. And then with Sir Lewis Hamilton, he was battling Verstappen for second. I mean, they were going for a while. And then you said they, like they went with the strategy and he ended up falling behind. But yeah, great race. It wasn't like previous races. There weren't as many DNFs. So a lot of the guys went through the race. I think it was four of them. McLaren still, Piastri got into the fourth spot, but they can continue. They're just not right. They don't look the same as like last year. So curious if that'll change, going to the second half. But yeah, Antonelli, he battled his way in the third. So great race by him. But yeah, with Sir Lewis Hamilton, man, yeah, he's on the cusp.
Mm-hmm.
But he has to stay on that team to make sure that it doesn't fall apart, and they keep the momentum going. Like I said, he was right there in this race. He was battling, so we'll see what happens. Was it the British Grand Prix next, Jason, which is next weekend? So we'll see how they go. But great race overall. But congratulations, George Russell, for taking the race.
And Danny, just to add here some Formula One news, the continent of Africa, there are some countries in Africa who are vying for Formula One. You have the likes of South Africa, Rwanda, Nigeria, and Morocco, with Nigeria being one of the latest countries to join in this bid. And so, man, that would be awesome. That would be awesome to see. The last Formula One race that was on a continent was back in 1993 in South Africa. We're looking at, man, 3 decades worth of not being on the continent. So this would be very interesting. We'll keep our eyes on this, but man, that would be awesome. And Danny, lastly, into a little Brewers news, and where this past weekend the Brewers faced off against the Cubs, losing the series. The last game of the series went 10 innings, and we always said, man, you got to win 2 out of 3. You got to win 2 out of 3, and you got to do that against your major rival. We didn't do that. We are still leading the division, but we got a lot of season left. And I just want us to continue to build up that gap. We are 5.5 games ahead of the Cubs, but that means nothing.
Yeah.
We are 82 games into the season. So we are pretty much halfway through the season, but we gotta continue to build. What say you, Danny, about these Brewers?
Yeah, Jason, tough loss. Well, Saturday's game too, man. They had Harrison going, but they had some of the stuff like Yelich he didn't play. A couple others, they sat that game where they lost 8-2, and then the heartbreaking loss on Sunday. So they have the Reds. So this is a series I'm hoping they can sweep. So they got game 1 last night. We'll see what game 2 brings. They have Sproat on the mound today against Lodolo, but they have a stretch coming up where they have the Cardinals. After they have the Diamondbacks on the road, and then they have the Cardinals for 5, and then the Pirates for 3 before the All-Star break. So the Pirates are starting to fade. They've run into some injuries, and from the Brewers' perspective, man, they got to keep moving because Pete Crow Armstrong and the Cubs, Pete Crow Armstrong is on one right now.
Yeah.
That he is on fire. And the Cubs have won 8 of the last 10. So they're making their move right now because they couldn't hit a lick. Now they're on it. So they got to hold them off. And from an overall National League perspective, the Braves have kind of pulled back a little bit, only winning 3 of their last 10. The Dodgers are getting hot. They've won 7 of the last 10. So there's going to be some battling going on here, man, from a positioning perspective. But first off, you got to take care of the division. So I think from my perspective, they should be able to sweep the Reds. And then,
Gotcha.
then Diamondbacks is going to be tough on the road because they usually struggle in Arizona for whatever reason. They got to keep that cushion, especially having that 5-game set against the Cardinals coming up.
And let me just say this, Danny. Right now, to your point, the Dodgers are only 2.5 games ahead of the Brewers for the National League.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it doesn't even matter about home field advantage. It's about how you're playing and the pitching stat. I mean, you gotta have some horses, man. So we'll see. We'll see what the Brewers come up with, man. I mean, we gotta come off these injuries.
Yeah, and they get Logan Henderson back coming up, Jason. I think he may be starting next week or end of this week, so that'll be big. Help with the rotation. One other thing with the Dodgers, their bullpen is actually pitching well this year. Remember last year that was their Achilles heel.
Yep.
They're actually pitching well. A lot of season left, but Brewers just got to keep it moving, keep that cushion in their division.
Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.